Okay, today I am going to teach you how to go into January with no regret. Okay, and this is something that you could actually use every single month, but the month of December is like a must calendar plot month. Okay, so what you're going to do typically, we will tell clients, I always say, hey, what do you have coming up on the next 2 weeks? And start to plot out those 2 weeks to assess any events you might be going to, and then at that point making decisions on what you're going to do. What's your ultimate goal here? Now, in the month of December, the reason why I suggest doing the entire month is because you might see over the month's time that you've got a lot crammed into those second 2 weeks, and you wish you'd been tighter on the diet those first 2 weeks. So what you're going to first decide is, one, what is the goal for the month of December for you? Are you going to be upset if you end up maintaining? Like, let's say you're on a diet right now, or are you okay with that? Would you be upset if you gain weight? All of that, right? So, because there are times that people go on vacation knowing that, hey, you know what? It's an easy come, easy go. I might be up a couple pounds on this vacation, but it's coming back off. So, some people are okay with that. But if you're paying a coach, and you're right now in the middle of following a program, my suggestion would be as tight as you possibly can while still being okay with the ones that you're willing to accept as off plan. And the best way to really see that, 30,000 foot view is calendar plotting. So what you're going to do, I'm going to show you today on my big calendar, but I just take out my regular calendar and start using a coding system. So let's say, you have no room to spare. You've got like a photo shoot and, outside of maybe Christmas dinner, you are investing a lot in, say, coaching or something. And so you want to be 100%. Well, you're already going to be able to know exactly what that means. That means nothing off plan. But the way to determine, let's say, 90% compliance or 95% compliance, and I'm going to go over where I think people should stick, you're going to first figure out the days in the month, the amount of meals that you have. So for me, I've got, 31 days this month, and I eat 5 meals a day. So that gives me 155 meals for this entire month, okay? Now, if I wanted to be 100%, of course, all 155 on plan. Now, 95% compliance for me usually yields some fat loss results, okay? So I will see progress even with having that 95% compliance, okay? So once I calculated that, it gave me 7 off-plan meals. Now also let me give you more, uh, information on that, more details into that. And then 90% compliance, and for someone like me, and this is, it's a little bit different for everyone. For me, 90% I'll usually maintain. I'm not going to see much of a change if I'm 90% compliant. And I know for some people like 90%, but wait until you see the way that I chart this out, and you're going to see how 90% isn't going to cut it for a lot of you to see fat loss. Now, my goal for the month of December, to be honest, is to maintain. It's always been mine, usually the month of December, even with high compliance, and meaning I'm really intentional about those other times off. I have a lot of times off that I just know they're going to kind of cancel each other out. Now, let me make one note here. When I say, off, 7 off-plan meals, that's not going to mean like 7 actual meals, because we all know that some of these meals, Christmas dinner is definitely more calorically dense than, say, like my chicken and rice meal, right? So what I like to do is kind of combine some of those and just know that. That's why I go according to the 90 and 95. 90%, which says it's 15 off plan, but that's about 7 real big meals, 7 meals off for me. That's going to be that 90%. So what you'll see here is I've got all these green dots for the days that have passed. And you could green dot your entire month if you're that intentional and you're like, hey, I know I'm going to be on here. But I've gone along with up to today. And then I went ahead and gone through and already marked the red meals that I know I'm going to be off. So I've got my bonus daughter's birthday on the 16th. And I know we're going for burger and fries because she loves Five Guys, and I think that's what she's choosing. So I have 2 red dots because while, yes, it might be 1 meal per se, off, it really counts as 2 for me because I know that's going to be a lot more calories. So I've got 2 dots here. Now I know hubby's birthday is here. Now, originally I did have 2 dots here, but after I started to go through my month and see what else I had coming on the horizon, I went back and decided that on his birthday, I'm just going to have cake. And I know we're eating here at the house, so I can stay on plan. But I saw, Christmas Eve, I'm doing a Christmas dinner. So I've got two here. Christmas Day, I have it off. We go to the movies. This is like a tradition of ours. I'm going to do breakfast that morning. Will I be intentional still? And will I not eat like a sloppy fool? Of course. But I did mark it as 5. I'm just counting it that way. I'd rather err on the side of caution and count that way versus be like, what? I only had 7 off planned meals. Why am I'm up in weight, whatever. So I've counted that off. And then I know on the 26th, we're potentially doing something I have there. And then I've got New Year's Eve. I marked it, counted as 2 because I know we usually do a family thing. And then on the 1st, I have that morning breakfast dinner, again, counting it as 2, citing on the air of caution. And I have a star here for a potential item that then I'd probably want to reassess some of these other off plan if I'm going to take the 28th. Because as I count those up, you'll see 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 here, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, technically, the 1st is the next month, but y'all know, like, you don't want to start counting, like, future dates. Like, I'm looking at this as a whole, and that's quite a few. And so this right here would have me at, 14, 15 off plan. So I shouldn't expect to see a lot of change in December. And that's with being intentional all these other days. This is why it's so important to plot out every month if you can, but at least in 2-week periods. So you really see what's coming up. It lets you decide what's worth it, what's not. Sometimes none of it's worth it. I do believe in seasons of proving to yourself that you can say no to anything, but this allows you to remember, like I said at the beginning, is to go into January with no regret. You're choosing this, you're deciding this, and you get to then have that feeling of, hey, I'm in alignment here with what I want to be doing. Okay, so plot out your month. It's not too late, and it's never too late to do the next month and the next month and make this part of your tool all the time.